the animals to the zoo. And against the East West Link. We might even do this again. Very first, I would like to acknowledge that we're standing on Aboriginal land, land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, land which was stolen, which had a big impact on the whole Aboriginal community today. The reason why we organised this march, some people were a bit puzzled when they first heard we were organising a children's march for the animals. And this was an initiative of Moreland Community against the East West Tunnel MCAT for short, but also there have been a range of other people who have been helping Michael with the pulling off of this event. I think Petra Stott, Julianne Bell and a range of other people. And the reason we organised this march is because the East-West link has many, many effects, but one of them will be on the zoo. And there's in 40 metres of the animal enclosures at the zoo. And animals are just like you and I. They need sleep, they can't take distress. And some animals are even more sensitive than other animals to loud noises, drilling, vibrations, which will happen so close to the zoo. The zoo needs to do a study on what all the noise will do to the animals, but before, not after the government signs the contract. This study needs to be done before. Officials at the zoo are saying that they don't need to do a study on the impacts of the East-West Tunnel on animals because in their care, because they're getting expert advice. But who are they getting that expert advice from? The expert advice is coming from companies with vested interests, like the East-West Connect, Interlink Group, Momentum Infrastructure and the Premier Dennis Napthine. So all of these companies, plus the Premier, have vested interest in building more roads and not building public transport. Would you put the fate of an elephant, a giraffe or a meerkat in the hands of someone who wants to build a road 40 metres from there to tell the people who run the zoo that it's time to demand of the state government that they study the impacts on the animals at the zoo, and don't even think about signing a contract to build the East-West link until such a study is done?
Oh, the umbrellas are out, that's wonderful. Well, look, very briefly, and because we have the media here, I'll just run through the points to cover the many reasons that you were here today. Your particular reason may not be here, but it's pretty comprehensive. We're here because this East-West link through Royal Park will axe 5,200 trees. It will create an environment where animals can't sleep at night, and a trip to the zoo will become not the wondrous experience that people were expecting. We're here because the $8 billion that is earmarked for this tunnel could be better spent on public transport and in a snap ease the congestion that this government says is a problem. The government wants more to move tens of thousands of trucks from Port Melbourne, and that's what this is all really about. It's about trucks. It's not about people driving in from the eastern suburbs. It's not about people wanting to go to the Tullamarine airport. Nowhere in the world is there a zoo so close to a major toll road. This will be within 40 metres from endangered species. Oh, this is very curt. You can have a toll road, you can have a zoo, but not side by side. I'll just change that to you can't have a toll road, you can have a zoo. So we want to get rid of this thing which brings pollution, it brings noise and the waste of our public wealth all into one place, into a pointless, useless tollway. I did a little bit of mathematics in my recent comedy festival show. 40,000 cars every morning arrive at Hoddle Street off the Eastern Freeway. Of those, 8% of them want to go beyond the north of the city out across into the Tullamarine Freeway area and down to the docks. Now I worked that out, 8% That's 8 over 100 by 40,000. Take off, divide by 2 and you get 11 people want to go beyond the top of the city. $8 billion for 11 people. I worked that out too. $740 million per person to move them to the other side of the city. It's not needed. So what we want to do is we want to show the world, and we're here today. Thankfully, we have the networks here today, as well as I believe the Herald Sun, to cover this march of you brave people in this appalling weather. And so what we'd like to do is we'd like to get the children with sufficient supervision at the front of our march, which will leave at the pedestrian crossing there. So if we could get you all to assemble, we've got Gertie, our giraffe, who's going to lead us, so we'll encourage Gertie to get up to the pedestrian crossing as well. And as Michael said, we're going to march down whatever that street is, who knows? Walker Street. Walker Street. No, it's Walker Street for walkers. And then we're going to go across country in the great tradition of Burke and Wills to the zoo, where we will set up camp and finalise our protest. Thank you all so much for coming, and particularly to the children. It's wonderful to have all these children here. So let's make this a really great march, and let's have fun along the way.
That's the Melbourne Zoo. Well, I can sleep tonight. In the zoo, that's the Melbourne Zoo, with all the animals sleep at night. Imagine if they built a freeway, took the freeway right to the door. What was that? If they build a freeway at the door, maybe the animals can't sleep no more. Now there's another concern about pygmy hippopotamus. I've heard that they need to breathe.
They do need to breathe.
Yes. Well, there's Daddy Hippopotamus and Mummy Hippopotamus trying to make another little baby hippopotamus. They don't like the sound of the trucks at night. They won't be making baby no more. Oh, I win my way, 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 I win my way. Well, that's about it.
That's a beautiful song. There we go.
I'm going to take suggestions from all verses.
All right, let's get them all. Come and see John.
We're very keen today to see the zoo and state government really step back and say, what about the animals? What about the exit points, LEW and MacArthur Street, that will be 40 metres from the zoo? What's the impact going to be in the short term while construction goes ahead between now and 2019? And what are the long-term impacts going to be of having 4 lanes of traffic popping out of tunnels 40 metres from the zoo?
Sure. I think first of all we'd like to thank everyone for turning out today. It's a tremendous response and just shows how much everybody loves zoos and has a real interest in the animals and cares about that. And so thank you to everyone who took part. Thank you to all the kids who've written all of these letters and the petition. At Zoos Victoria we take our responsibility to the animals very seriously. We are involved in talking to the project proponent, which is the Linking Melbourne Authority, to make sure that the zoo's requirements have been built into the project requirements. And we will continue to engage with them and pass on these kind of inputs through the next 5 years. Whatever happens ahead of us, we will certainly be involved, making sure at all times that the interests of the animals and of the visitors to the zoo are taken care of. Thank you.
What do we want? What do we want? And the last as loud can be, so your ears pop off. 1, 2.